In college, as a political activist, I found myself surrounded by original Filipino progressive music, such as the Asin, Joey Ayala, Buklod, Paul Galang, and Che Santiago, and I started singing their songs. My first professional experience, however, as a music and theater artist was as a member of Kaliwat Theater Collective. At Kaliwat, I learned that it wasn't all about artistic expressions. It was also about pedagogy, ideology, ethnography, and anthropology. I remember that fateful day in 1988 while working at the Development Education Media Services. I was in a dark room processing some black and white photos taken by then Kaliwat director Nestor Orfilia and Richard Villar, and choreographer Richard Villar, when they asked me if I wanted to join their collective, which comprised of Marily Fernandez, Basa, Roland Fortune, and Eden Espejo. And I said yes, probably too loudly and excitedly because they both laughed. Kaliwat was deeply involved in the indigenous people's struggle for self-determination. From Nestor Orfilia, I learned 3 core frameworks in theater work that would become the bedrock of my own artistic endeavors later. The play as a vessel or medium for telling the stories of oppressed and marginalized peoples. Stories are not just words, they also encompass artistic expressions and the vibrant symbols of their cultures. And that's why we needed to climb the mountains of Arakan Valley and Columbia Sultan Kudarat to listen to the people's stories, their chants, and the music of the indigenous peoples. That is why we needed to learn how to sing songs that are not in our language, but in the Maguindanao, Maranao, or Manobo languages. That is why we needed to learn how to dance the Pangalay, or the Kapagapir, or the Gandingan, the Sagayan, and the Tauti. Second is developing the culture-creating capacity of people versus cultural consumerism. This means encouraging so-called non-artists to produce art versus merely consuming art, to make people understand the power of art to bring people together around important social issues, and the power of art to affect changes in social behaviors, laws, and policies. And when people understand this power, they will understand to want to create art in order to help them empower themselves. Third is the use of collaborative and collective process in mounting theater productions. Unlike many plays, where the writer goes off to their cave to write a story inspired from their own personal experience, or the director looks for an already written play to mount, the collaborative and collective playmaking process involves a group of theater artists coming together to talk about what play to write next, where to get the stories from, what do we want to say, what is the premise, what is the philosophy. Fe Remotigue, a Mindanaoan playwright in the groundbreaking musical Sinalimba, taught me how to become like a mother to different artists. She liked gatherings and dialogues, and she taught me patience, diplomacy, and leadership. Then there was Al Santos, a renowned playwright and director based in Manila. He opened me up to the interesting world of Asian performance arts. As head of the Asian Council for People's Culture, he brought together performing artists from all over Asia. But more than that, Al taught me the importance of an education with culturally responsive teaching methods and curricula, which he applied when he built the schools of indigenous knowledge and traditions. Ong Keng Sen, a theater director in Singapore who is now the director of the Singapore Arts Festival, invited me to the Flying Circus Project back in 2000, which gathered over 70 performers, filmmakers, and visual artists of all manner and form from all over Asia. At the gathering, I had an epiphany. I realized that when we talked, we argued so much, and for some to the point of anger. But when we danced and played music or watched art, we were one. Art made us one. And finally, John Stokes, a musician and founder of the tracking project based in Corrales, New Mexico. John taught me one that he learned from his indigenous teachers, and that is giving thanks to every creature that has sustained us as human beings. When you give thanks, you are in a conversation. When you are in a conversation, you don't fear. I lamented to John a couple of years ago. I said, if only artists would be taken seriously as major players in change making, then there will be hope for the world. He repeated to me something that he heard in a discussion about Plato's Republic many years ago. He said, basically, the artists have a new idea or a new vision, and they present it to the world through their art. The scientists, who like to think of themselves as artists, then proves scientifically what the artists are presenting. The business community sees something new to sell, so they get behind the new idea. And the politicians see everyone else taking off in a new direction, and they jump in front of the parade saying, I was with you all the time. So John said, if you want change, talk to the artists. You see, it's hard to see how an artist can feed empty stomachs. But art feeds a depraved or dampened spirit. And most, if not all, wars and problems in the world are not caused by a poverty of resources, but by the poverty of the spirit.